Brady with goHUNT, and today I'm going to walk you through the necessary steps you got to do when you first purchase a Seek Outside titanium stove. Before you can run on the field and use this, you actually got to burn in, what I like to call season the stove. This is going to help everything with your stovepipe, because if you try to roll out your stovepipe in the field for the first time, you're going to get a bunch of dings and dents all over it, and so it's best to roll the pipe here in your home and then assemble the stove, burn it all. Helps everything just get form fitted and works a lot better for you once you get in the field. So now we have everything taken out, we're going to go ahead and unroll this pipe and then re-roll it again and then go outside and season it. So here we have the Seek Outside titanium stovepipe. Best way to do this is to just take the steel ring off. You're going to unroll it all, and then this is a 7.5 foot pipe, so it's easier to have help. And what we like to do is put it on a dowel, just helps roll it a little easier. And the stuff is really sharp, like very sharp. So if you want, you could use gloves to assemble it, but you don't need to. But be very cautious of what you're doing.
Okay.
All right. Slide it on your way for now. All right, once you have it to this point, definitely want to throw these rings on quick. So as you can see here right now, we just rolled this inside first. You do not want to do this in the field the first time. You could assume that you can just take your stove out and use it the first time, it's going to be fine, but rolling this pipe up in the field is a big pain. You're actually going to dent up your pipe a lot, and those dents are going to permanently stay in there. So right now you can see the pipe is perfectly round and all good. That's why you need to burn in your stove for the first time at home before you go in the mountains. All right, so now once you have the stove assembled and your pipe rolled up, you're going to want to take this outside and actually burn your stove in. One thing I'll quickly touch on right now while we have a t-shirt hanging out here. Any fingerprints you leave on the stove, once you burn it in, those fingerprints are going to permanently burn in your stove. So once you take it outside, you're going to want to wipe your stove off, get rid of all the fingerprints. Same thing with the pipe. Just helps keep things clean for the longer haul. And then if you want more information on how to assemble your stove, check out the link in the description down below. Now that we got all the wood loaded in the stovepipe on, I want to take a quick second to mention about the tension of all the wing nuts. You not want to tighten this down completely tight right now, because when you burn the stove for the first time, the titanium and everything could expand, and so you don't want to warp your stove. So just keep these fairly loose for right now while you burn it in, and later on when we actually take this out hunting, you can tighten them all down and be good to go. Now we just got done burning the Seek Outside titanium stove. I like to let these just sit there with a bunch of wood in it for roughly 30 minutes. That's all you really need. And then we're gonna wait for it to cool down and disassemble it, roll it back up, and now I'll have a lot of good memory in the pipe. That's the main thing, so the pipe will be easy to roll up and out in the field. So roughly what you're gonna be looking for when you burn in your stove is to let it run for at least 30 minutes. It ensures everything's gonna be burned through, the whole pipe, everything on the stove is gonna be all nice and seasoned. A couple things to keep in mind again too. Make sure you keep all these loose when you're burning your stove, otherwise you could have your stove warp a little bit. And then, as you can see right here too, the stove is perfectly round, so we did roll it with a big long broomstick. Remember before I was mentioning about wiping down your stove after you assemble it so you don't burn in fingerprints on it? As you can see here, I got a lot of fingerprints burned in there. This is my personal stove, so I really didn't care too much about that. But something to keep in mind if you want to keep your stuff nice is just to wash your stove off before you burn it in for the first time to remove all fingerprints. Yeah, so basically that's the rundown. Appreciate you guys watching the video. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe, drop any comments down below if you have any questions, and best of luck to you.